Hello lovely people, I hope you are doing well, whatever time of day or day of the week this crosses your path. I hope you are okay. So it's September, and in September I like to put a little bit of extra focus on children's health, just bringing a little bit of awareness and education to issues that come up for children and how to support them safely, naturally and gently with that issue. And this evening I want to talk a little bit about growing pains. So you might remember having growing pains as a child. Pop a yes into the comments if you remember having growing pains. I definitely remember having growing pains. And it's interesting with growing pains because it's still a bit of a mystery. So we're here in 2021, and there are still things, medical issues that we don't have a huge amount of information on. Now with growing pains, it has had a change of name, which is appropriate. So now they're calling it benign nocturnal limb pain in children. And why that change has come is because they haven't found really any correlation or association with growing. So it's called growing pains, and I'll use that term for ease as I go through this video. But there isn't really a connection with growing, so they've given it a different name, which does exactly as it says on the tin kind of thing. So how growing pains present, or how a child will complain of them typically, is aches and pains maybe into their hips, their thighs or their knees. It's usually both sides, could be their arms too, and it usually will be more evening to nighttime, and then by the next morning they're grand again. So that's kind of a pretty typical scenario for the growing pains picture. But as I say, they have this whole new name now. And the interesting thing with these kind of aches and pains that are coming up for children now, the generation that is here now, these kids now are having more. So they're complaining more of aches and pains than previous generations. Now there's going to be layers in on top of that of life is very different for children now. Even the last year has been nuts for children in terms of Zooms and laptop time and screen time. And they are spending scary amounts of hours in front of screens. And they are glued into, at their desk, or they're glued to the sofa, or they're basically stuck in one position. So they're just not getting the same amount of exercise. They are static, they're stuck into one position, and this is building tension in the body, stress in the body, because they're not moving their body. I mean, we can talk about adults and how much we're moving our body, or not, how much we're not moving our body. But, for kids, they're struggling with this too, and we're seeing them complaining of aches and pains more as well. And then, when they go to survey kids and figure out, okay, what's going on for children. One study, I wrote a post about it, so I'll put the link into that, for that into the text. They looked at children when they were about 11 years of age or so. They found that back pain was common, first of all, which is worrying already. And then when they came back and spoke to them again a couple of years later, around 14 years of age, they found the ones that were complaining of back pain still had it a couple of years later and were worse. So they were getting it more frequently, it was more severe, and now they were getting other aches and pains in different parts of their body. So the concern about that is you have young children turning into teenagers with aches and pains, and that trajectory of becoming an adult complaining of aches and pains, which is, we want to avoid that. We want happy, healthy children on a trajectory turning into happy, healthy adults. That's a much healthier community to have than kids commonly complaining of aches and pains, turning into teenagers with more, and potentially then turning into adults with more and more issues. So really to pay attention to children when they are complaining of aches, whatever the nature of those aches may be. First of all, obviously, you have to rule out anything that might be concerning, any sinister issue that might be going on, which is typically very rare, but you still have to address that. And then to not assume that they will just grow out of it, to look at what you can improve on, what you can change, be it less sedentary time, more exercise, paying attention to posture, those kind of things. Addressing whatever you can address. I mean, I'm 12 years in practice now, and through those 12 years I've worked with children. The amazing thing about working with kids is that they respond really quickly, so you will see if a change is going to happen, you will see it quite quickly. And to really help them get on that trajectory of health and happiness. Help them get on a trajectory of turning into an adult that is well and healthy and not complaining of headaches and hip pain or whatever might be going on for them. And in my work, looking at what's going on in the body. Is there tension? Is there tightness? Is there stress in their body? Is there imbalances? Is there misalignment that can be addressed and supported to have change and improvements there? So there's a lot going on for kids these days, and to just give it that little bit of time, a little bit of investigation, and to not fall into that, you'll just grow out of it, because as I said, growing pains aren't actually connected with growing at all. And to look a little bit deeper into how you can support your child's health and what we can do to get them to be a little bit of a healthier, happier child, and as I say, turning into a healthier, happier adult. Okay, so I hope you found that little tidbits of information on children's health interesting. If you like the video, pop a like on there, or if you think someone that you might know in your circle might enjoy it, share it with them. So I'll be sharing more this September about children's health, so stay tuned.